On. All right, welcome everyone to today's study session. This is the button versus mid position at 40 big blinds. Last week we looked at the cutoff versus the button, and so we'll briefly review and then take a look at some of the new stuff today, and then get into some trainer work, and particularly the post flop play. So the button versus the raise. Last week we looked at what that looks like when our opponent is the cutoff. And you can see it was using these offsuit aces, 8, 9, and 10. And it's very easy to remember because then you swing over to the suited kings, 7, 6, and 5. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And then you take a look at this one here, the 7, and it starts to pick the combos above it. Now remember, the button is attacking the cutoff's range. And the cutoff is sixes and nines at 40 big blinds. So he is here on this row here with his offsuit cards. So he's got all these, and then king 8 and a 7 and 6, right? So this is just a wide swath that he has to fold a fair amount when we choose 3 bets here with these lower combos. So we're able to attack the bottom of his range with these hands and these hands and get a lot of folds out of the things that we're matched with here. When we move to the hijack, which is what we're going to look at today, we again use 9s, 10s, and jacks as our offsuit aces. And coincidentally, we use 8, 7, and 6. Right, there's a little bit of overlap on king 9, which is going to be the cornerstone of our raising foundation. But again, we can still target the bottom of the range against the hijack, who is in his 7s and 10s. So our 8s are very active here, and our 9s are very active here, targeting the 10s in his range and his open raises down here. You can see that we are doing a fair bit of 3-betting and a fair bit of calling still. Our range is still pretty wide here. Just calling with ace queen, ace jack suited, ace queen suited for value gets to raise. So these ones all up here are our best value raises. And our range is protected by ace queen, ace jack suited, and pocket queens we start to mix here. As we go to the other mid position, which we'll take a look at today, our strategy begins to shift as we're now ace 10, ace jack, ace queen. Ace king starts to flat here. And we pick up the king 9 and a little bit of king 8. But our strategy moves from having a lot of these combos and the combos that would be just above it, attacking the bottom of range, because his range is starting to get tighter. We shift our strategy from attacking the bottom of his range so much to our 3-bets requiring blockers for value. So it's more important to block the top of his range, which we do when we hold an ace, blocking his ace king, ace queen, ace ace, than it is to attack the bottom of his range, which is starting to get narrower and narrower and narrower. So this point is a shift in our strategy. So we'll see that a little bit today when we do some solver work, looking at the differences between 3-betting the hijack, where we have some blocker effects, but we're still pretty wide down here in terms of what we can 3-bet. And when we move to the low jack, where our strategy shifts and we have a lot less of this, we're still doing it a little bit with most of this range, but we have a few more pure calls and we are attacking a lot more with suited aces against the low jack. So just a heads up for when we do some pre-flop work. Again, against the low jack, all our offsuit stuff is mixing 3-bets and calls. And so good luck finding this in game. This is a chance to study and to know this. And if you're on the button with an offsuit hand against mid to, and we'll take a look at it next week, early position, you should consider 3-betting or folding as you can kind of come around and see. We'll preview next week, right? We're here. It is 3-betting, calling, and mixing folds here. Low jack, we don't really start folding out this stuff very much yet. It is mostly attacking with 3 bets, folding to 4 bets though. Very aggressive with this bottom part of the range. All right. Let's launch into some trainer work and see how it goes. Here we go. Low jack open. Bottom of range, king 10. High frequency 3 bets. Very low frequency fold. Medium frequency call, maybe, if I recall correctly.
I think it mixes.
Yeah. Mixing some folds, mixing some calls, and mixing some 3 bets. I think this one is particularly good to 3-bet. When you get to raise back, it is very easy to fold. And a call is a 0 EV play here. It sets you up to be squeezed. And it's just going to have a hard time showing down on the river here. But if we take this line where we give it a raise, he calls. Now we get here. Ace, king 5. Ace, king with a flush draw. We have a spade. And we have a marginal made hand, but a 3-bet pot. Who wants to bet? Who wants to check?
I think we range
you
bet
guys-
B25 here.
Okay. Yep. Majority of the time, it wants to bet and bet small. Very rarely to use the other sizes. And it also does a fair amount of checking here as a clearly marginal made hand. If you don't have a spade, do you think it checks more or bets more? Let's take a peek.
Good question. I think we like having the draw and also blocking is continuous. So I think we check more.
So here we go. We take a look at king 10 of spades. And the spade becomes value for us. And so we more inclined to bet when we have the spade, these 3 combos, the 10 of spades, versus when we don't have the spade here. So heart combos. Let's take a look. We do a lot of 3-betting here, so we don't have very many of these. King 9 of hearts is the one that wants more checking. It wants to check this backdoor flush more than it wants to check the single 10 of spades here. Blocking the backdoor is not as valuable as the equity given from approaching from the front door. So we get check raised. 3-bet pot, medium pair, backdoor. But I don't think we're in good shape.
It's a very weird SPR.
Yeah, because we have a 3-bet pot.
So if we call, SPR all of a sudden is like a third.
Yeah, way less than 1. So are we just essentially running it with our king here?
Yeah. I think this mixes call fold. I don't think you get to shove though.
I agree. Definitely not a call, or definitely not a shove.
Got a lot of equity. I think it mixes. No?
Yeah, it is always calling, but it's very low EV. Right? It's not folding here. It's just got too much that can happen.
I got one question about this spot, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm curious if in game you're more likely to fold versus what the solver is playing, because I don't think population is going to have this movie. Check raise bluffs as solver.
Yeah, I highly agree, but I think that I think it's more likely that our hand just has enough equity here, even when the opponent has an ace, right? Because on an
Yeah.
ace-king board, like, let's take a look at his, what he's check raising with. Good question, Larry. So we checked and we bet. His strategy is calling 50% folding. So raising is only a small part of his strategy. And he is raising his best ace for value and his second best ace for value and bottom set for value and king 5 for value. Right? So those are his value hands. And then he gets a smattering of bluffs where he has primary fold choices and occasional bluffs. And population is probably just pure folding almost all of these combos. Right? And you can see his raises are coming from hands that contain 2 spades.
Yeah.
Right? So like on this board, he is defending by bluffing with high equity. So his bluffs and his calls are all based on the flush here. Right? So he's defending against our pairs of aces and ace kings and stuff like that. These best hands here by bluffing with his highest equity hands. And then he turns his worst 5 a bluff. Wow. Right? Occasionally these 3s and 4s. So not a big part of his strategy. And I think population isn't going to check raise a flush draw often enough here. Excuse me, I'm just going to mute you. A little bit of background noise. If you guys have a lot of noise in the background, by all means, feel free to just mute and then unmute when you want to answer.
Cool.
Okay, so he stuffs the turkey when we gain more equity. Ooh, so this is a bad spot. So his bluffs are now completed flushes. His value are in good shape, but not great shape against our marginal made hand with a flush draw. And it is only a half pot bet.
So we need 25% equity to continue here, because what? We're need to put in 20 and 160.
So our flush draw is going to have about 15% equity here.
Yeah.
Plus our pair.
Assuming that it doesn't hold the queen or jack of spades. We also have additional equity with we might have additional equity with the 2 remaining kings and the 3 remaining tens. I think I think this
because
is
he
probably
doesn't
a call
have
land, but I would fold in real life.
Your second pair, and it's only a half pot bet, and you have a flush draw, and you want to fold?
Yeah, you're right. I might continue.
I mean, if the guy shows you ace jack of diamonds here, are you gonna call?
He shows me ace jack diamonds on it.
Okay,
I definitely have
let's take,
25. I definitely have 25 percent equity against that.
yeah, so it is gonna call here,
Yeah, that's a
right?
big.
And
That's a blunder on my part. That's a big EV difference.
it's a factor of our hand just has too much equity now. Right, with the flush draw and all the 2-pair combos. The king is particularly clean for us because the opponent doesn't have ace king in his range or pocket kings. So when he lacks that and we know that our king is a clean out, and then all the flush draws that can complete us, it is just going to call. And
Yeah, when you see the solution, it's an easy call, but I think I will have folded in real life.
yeah, it's only folding 22% of range here, so it's finally giving up with a 6. And I mean, even it's even calling when you have the, I guess you have the flushes down here, right? So yeah,
He's not folding any flush draws, even though we're picking the flushes.
nope, no, we're
18%.
calling with all the flushes. And then our kings when we have a flush call, and our kings when we don't have a flush fold. That looks like what we got here. Yeah, any single spade is calling, and any non-spade hand is folding here. The flush is the determining factor for our offsuit hands. Yeah, calling with the king or the 10 or the 9 of spades at full frequency all throughout. Right, and then just calling most of the aces, period. Giving up with our worst aces. Calling with our aces that have extra equity. Oh, with 2 pairs. Yeah, so it gives up these 2 aces, mixes with ace 9, and then pretty much pure calls all the rest of the stuff that we get here with. All right. And he just has ace queen. We better get it on the river.
We will never know.
We will never know. All right, 8-7.
I think this could mix.
Mix.
Call and raise. Call zero.
Call and raise.
You're just calling.
Maybe a fold. It is calling. Very low EV decision. It has a tiny speck of raise. If you find that raise, you are an animal. And give it a call. Find ourselves in this spot. King queen 4. We have nothing. He checks. You have 8 high, no backdoor flush, virtually no backdoor straight. Would you like to bet?
Checking, I think.
Okay, we got to check. Yeah. I'm inclined to bet and just see if there's some hands that he's auto folding. Let's take a peek. It is primarily a check. And if it does choose to bet, it wants to size up. It needs to generate fold equity. You can do this a little bit, but this is clearly a better decision here.
So if you choose to, well, that's about. He wants to bet about 60%.
Yeah, you are targeting hands like pocket 5s, you know, maybe Jack 8, right? That doesn't have a straight draw. His club holdings. Maybe he starts folding some club holdings. But the checking is also just fine here. He leads the king, and I think it's time to
Just
wait.
fold out. What's his? Yeah, queen, second pair, check. Yeah, makes sense.
No backdoor value for him, so he checks. And I mean, even with the front door value, I think he's going to be checking some queen jack of diamonds here pretty frequently. So All right, the hijack. So we get to attack the bottom of range a little bit more. Is anyone's hands itching?
I think
Itching
it's
for a
mix.
clicking?
I'm throwing a three bet.
All right, give
I
it.
think it mixes.
It does mix very much a 50-50 spot. If you're getting after it in game with this hand, this is very good. Remember, King 9 is kind of the anchor of our 3-betting strategy. So around that is going to be high frequency 3-bets a lot. We 3-bet and flop a flush draw and a good flush draw. But we still only have King High. Check or bet.
I think you're
We might
betting,
get some cheeky B50 here.
betting small.
I
you
think
have the
bet.
value.
ABB, always be betting. We want to bet everything.
Mental note, check raise Viv. All right, well, one at a time.
Oh, actually, wait, this is button versus hijack. I
Yeah,
think, I mean,
we're
I
in
think you can
position. We
s-
got
you can sneak a check in here, honestly. I thought we were playing button versus big blind, and
We're going to be
I
looking
like-
at the
if
button
you do
versus the hijack.
stab, then
and
you're
low
gonna
check.
be betting bigger.
Okay.
A little bit bigger, but not too much bigger. I think the ideal size half for a stab and otherwise check. But I think since it's king high check is better.
Okay,
I think it's gonna be
Uh,
check. Let's see, check for the double check. And then half pot for the single check.
Okay,
Let's see if I'm
uh,
correct.
I think
anyone
you'd be
else?
4. I think you're betting 4 here.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
bet
think
four.
Betting
like-
small in
I'm-
position with equity.
I bet 4.
I think you get to mix in some 50% bets here.
Okay, so we've got
It's
a
gonna
fair
mix
amount of
everything.
mixing.
It's gonna mix everything because
But
you're
I
equal
will-
EV here.
I would have bet 6, but it's not in the.
Okay. So let's give it a click and we'll find out. Yeah, this is just a spot where betting is the right answer. Our
I
hand wants
suck,
to start
bros.
building the pot. And we have one of our best flushes, but we don't have showdown value. I think if you have ace 8, it's
You
gonna
can
leave
check
a
back,
little
yeah.
more to checking.
Oh shit, this was a 3-bet pot.
Yeah,
Yeah, but 3-bet, c-bet, as my coach
I
Louis Philippe
retract
says.
my answer. The answer was double check for the bet 4. Let's go. I thought this was a single raise pot. I just got in here. We
No.
call. So yeah, I give the wrong answer. I thought we were supposed to be giving wrong answers.
Nice. Welcome to opposite day, courtesy of Viv. All right. He gives us a check raise, and we really couldn't be that unhappy with that situation, can we?
I think we're just calling.
Anybody else doing anything other than calling here? Good. I'm glad to hear the crickets because I think this is going to be.
Oh my goodness,
Whoa!
jamming it in. Oh,
I
I
mean,
guess
Jam.
you're SPR 1. I'm not jamming there.
I gotta take a look at this.
I mean, it makes sense also. I used to do that a lot, just my flush draw like that.
All right.
Bent solver, yes. Population, no.
When we are check raised, we have a perfectly 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 spot. We are calling with 7s. We are calling with our 8-10 pure and a 10-9 pure. And calling with 10s and jacks.
You're essentially calling with all your huge value and jamming the rest.
Calling with king, queen, all varieties here. Wow. Man, getting it in with kings and aces. And calling with ace, queen of all varieties here in this 3-bet pot. Wow.
Are you shoving with ace, king of spades here?
Probably the
Are we
offsuit
shoving
aces.
ace spades? Ace, king of spades is mixing, shoves, and calls. It's 50-50. Slightly more on the shoving side than the calling side. But all of our ace kings are going to war here.
Wow.
I find it interesting that we're shoving with our worst jacks.
Uh,
That we get here with
yeah. Yeah, it is just shoving any jack, pretty much.
You'd have to go look at his check raising range, which population will never find. That's the problem.
Let's take a look. In a 3-bet
Our
pot,
3-betting pots, I guess you're like, hey, top pair, low SPR now.
he's holding 25%, calling 50%, and raising 25%. Essentially.
I don't think they find the check raise in 3-bet pots for
No.
25% because that's what I learned. That's another like exploit. Like people do not play 3-bet pots as aggressively, which is why 3-bet C-bet works so well actually in the lower stakes.
Yeah.
But people will find C-bets if they study it. Like we get to study different boards and what combos to check raise.
So yeah, it's interesting. Here is his line. When he has a jack in his hand, he is check raising almost pure part of range. So when he's check raising that much, he has to find creative bluffs. And his creative bluffs are all situated around spades. He is check raising all of his spades here. So I'm not sure that King 8 or King 8 is particularly good. Right? I guess he's jamming enough worse ones.
I think population only what check raises maybe 10%, so they might be finding the flush draws, but they're not finding the jack highs there to bluff.
Yeah, the straight draws. And just
I
bottom
mean, I
jack.
think some of them might check raise the jacks, but not all the weak jacks. But I know that a lot of times they'd be like, yeah, this person, I put him on ace king, so I'm gonna check raise.
Yeah, I could get behind the ace king and the ace jack.
Yeah.
But
But theirs are still,
I'm
you're
raising
still
jack
beat, right?
Yeah, but the thing I see right there, it's everyone is saying this is the population. I agree, but I'm pretty sure the population will have C bet way more than checking. So when he check, he scream weakness.
yeah, it is a 3-bet pot though, so he is gonna check a fair bit. But,
Yeah, he'll check his sets and stuff and 2 pairs there easily.
so
No,
just
we
My
3-bet.
experience anyways.
We 3-bet and he called, so most people he will be checking. Will he check raise? Or you think
Well,
that
we 3-bet, he checked, we raised, he
so
check
you think
raised.
that population's leading in 3-bet pots? Because
No,
some do, but most don't.
Most don't. They'll check back their sets and check raising on those. As far as I've seen, anytime I've called down, right? But
yeah, I don't find
there's
a lot
not
of
enough of a bluffing range in a 3-bet check raise pot for me to call or jam there. I could be wrong, but
yeah, I don't find enough leads in 3-bet ones either. So we'll take a look at that briefly as a concept. And
Yeah, the
see
donking range of the out of position player.
is, yeah, he is 100% checking this board.
yeah.
So there's no strategy to be learned on donking, jack high 2-tone. You know, if the solver is doing it, very high frequency checking out of position. All right, low jack opens. Remember, we don't target the bottom of his range so much. We target the top of his value instead. So I think this is going to be a very high frequency call.
Yeah, high call, small.
So
Small range.
here, there's like a super split here in the study group. Oh wait, never mind. This is totally recorded. So put the call.
Yep.
I call. No, yeah, we call
Okay.
this.
Call. All right. So it is 3-betting though here. Let's take a quick look and remind ourselves of this 3-bet strategy. So I am not 3-betting pocket eights as my defaulting game here. And it's a bit of an outlier. Just find some 3-bets with 8s and 7s. I am not finding that so much. I am finding this. I am finding this. I'm finding low frequency this. I am not finding this. Alright, got 2, 3 bet pocket eights some days. Alright. As a call, definitely an option. Facing Jack 5-4.
This
Not
is
that
our
bad.
definition of a marginal range, and I think we check off, didn't we?
Anyone else want to do anything other than check? Good, crickets. All right. For me, I often, when I see this type of an arrangement, and it's not going to be very connected to the low jack, with 2 undercards, I'm more inclined to check. And with 2 overcards, I'm more inclined to stab. Right? High frequency check, low frequency stab. When you stab very small. Just clean up some auto folds. Oh. Well, that's not good.
Yeah, just muck.
Or are you kidding? This guy, he's been given the green light to go. He has he's how much of his range do you think he's betting here?
Yeah, he still has
No, it
a
has 2
range
overs
that is
still.
ahead of us.
He's still got range
And
advantage
he's
right
betting
now,
large,
huge.
so we don't really have to deal with his shit. I learned that in the fucking webinar. I was like, yo, I've been I have been like, so it was a different spot. It wasn't this spot, but it was a different spot. And it was like, I call big bets too often. I'm an idiot. So
Okay.
I was playing with the trainer to see like versus big bets. When do we fold pairs?
Okay.
And this is not even a pair on the board. Like if you have a jack, I'd rather call with a freaking king 5 than these eights. But I prefer you're folding king 5. You're calling jack, maybe a jack.
So
Your
Viv's defending
jacks are calling.
all her jacks and maybe king 5. Yeah, maybe I can see king 5 and queen 5. Although I don't know if you have queen 5 in range here.
No, you don't have a queen 5.
But I am so tempted to call one.
I would call one,
All right.
and I think Solver's sticky. I think it's gonna call. Oops.
It just gives up.
Pure
You have
Let's
no
fold.
take a
more.
I
look.
You
think
have no more equity to gain. You can't gain any more equity with 2 overs.
exactly. So if you have a and you have a lot of gut shots too in range, like you're well, you're not calling gut shots really, but you're wait.
No, if
Let's-
you had some gut shots in there, you definitely could probably pull something off there. But you got
Let's take a
there's
look.
nothing. You have 2 outs. That's it.
Let's take a look at king 5 with the diamond.
Yeah, eights are just not doing well here.
So king 5, when you have cards like that,
Well, you said king 5 with a diamond.
yeah, king 5 of diamonds is pure calling, but king 5 even without is finding some calls here.
Well, we don't have
Whereas
offsuit
pairs-
king 5, so
These pairs are pure folding. When you have even though the 8s are beating the 5s,
if the jack
It's-
10 is folding here,
it's more important to have the outs that are going to be clean, right? And have 6 outs rather than 2 for improving. So king 5 just has a little
jack
more
10 I think
potential.
blocks too many of the bluffs because they might
But I
be
mean,
bluffing with a lot of
Even
the
your
gut shot
9s
shit.
and your 10s, you need a diamond probably with the 10 to call, but you're still.
Yeah, his bluffs are going to contain 2 cards, queen 10, king 10, king queen, right? His bluffs are going to be the 2 Broadway cards here connected between these 2.
Oh, I love this. I love this chart because our king queen is folding because he's bluffing with a lot of the king 10s, king queens, and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Unless I'm
don't want-
misinterpreting.
Yeah.
And like, but then don't you also block his best value hands if you have king queen?
Well, you need some value yourself. Right? And you want him
So
to
all
have
of our
king queen.
king high gut shots, our queen's 10 gut shot is
Your
calling.
diamonds are calling. That's the only thing that's calling. The rest is folding.
So the queen 10 gut shot except for the spade. I guess why don't I like the spade? I guess because the spade bricked the backdoor flush.
Can you tell me why the king fold and queens call? Pair of king,
Pair of kings folds,
but queens call.
called. We want him to be. Oh, we just don't have it in range here very much. Right? We only have one combo of it.
Okay,
And having a king is particularly bad here.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, we
would've
don't
raised-
want.
You would have raised your kings except for your king with your kings with value would have checked, right, with the spade and the diamond or heart. Is that what I saw there? On the
Yeah,
king?
and when the king comes, it completes the straight for him. Because he's gonna be betting more. When he has king high, he's gonna be more inclined to check here.
Oh, this is low jack, so he is opening the queen 10, but then he doesn't. Yeah.
When he bets with the cards surrounding the jack, the queen 10, it completes with the king. Whereas the king, he's gonna have some that check here and just show down as their best hand. So it's not good when we block the king. So the EV difference is very marginal, both of these hands. Like queens are calling for 0.035 and 0.018 chips. So it's a very marginal call with pocket queens. It is way better to call with a 5 and the king in your hand than it is to call with pocket queens, right? You're just looking for that flush draw. All right.
I was just totally
oh.
winging it, but that is an interesting thing, I guess, and maybe versus when the bigger the bet, it seems that the more we have to be mindful of like what his bluffs are. And so we don't really want to block him having bluffs.
Yeah, when he
I guess that's what Matt was saying. He was saying like when you're trying to defend on the turn, you're trying to say, am I bluff catching? Okay, I need to now use like a bluff catching rhetoric if I have a bluff catcher.
I'm still going to need more equity than pocket eights are going to allow because I need more outs to improve on the river to bluff catch, even on the turn. Because you're probably going to face a double barrel there a lot too.
Yeah, on the turn, you have to consider your equity as well. And eights
Alright.
just kind of suck, even though like it's absolute, it's a pair, cool. He's probably not having a pair if he's bluffing, but then yeah, but you know, it's not, it can't improve. Call.
Seems like a standard call. Anyone doing anything other than what Viv does? We got some crickets, so we'll go with the call. It is a pure call. Remember, our strategy is going to be around king 9, and we're going to be attacking lower stuff here.
yeah, I think earlier queen 9 we were mixing call and raise.
Excellent there. We flop a marginal made hand with a backdoor flush. And an over. Yeah, I think I'm going to check a lot. Anyone
Yeah,
else going to check?
Second pair backdoors, I'll check too.
Okay. Checks. Very high frequency check, very low frequency bets. Great spot to check. We face a big bet. We don't turn any real equity here. This is actually a bad turn card for us. It completes some straights too. But we have second pair.
I think it's a pure
This
call.
is pure call. It is heavily mixing. Remember, we don't want to block the hands that he wants to bluff with, which is king high. We would probably be happier to call with ace 10 here and not for the difference between the king and the 10 and the ace and the 10, the ace and the king in terms of our kicker, but unblocking the bluffs that we want him to have. But this hand is still just too strong. So it faces one bet, and then he stuffs the turkey, pot and a half. Flush completes.
Fold.
Our life is miserable. second pair, everyone calling or everyone folding?
I don't want to have. I don't know if I like our suit.
Uh,
I mean,
I'm
am
folding
I
here.
bluff catching? Yeah, I don't think we need. Yeah, I don't like our it's a bluff catcher.
I mean, we're blocking his
Nine
bluffs
jack.
Mhm.
on two levels. We're blocking his king X and we're blocking this. Yes.
And we don't block his value. So I think we have some bluff catches with spade when we have a spade in our hand here, but without the spade,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
just fold. Yeah, like honestly,
That's a good question. If we can mix in some calls if we're holding king spades.
yeah, I think we have enough queens. It looks like, and we have jack nine.
when
So
we
it's a
have
pure
king,
call
Reasonable
if we have king
frequency. We have
spades.
queen nine.
yeah, when we have
King
king 10 and we
nine.
have the spade, we call.
Is king nine only a flush, or is the king nine like our bluff catcher here? Look at
Uh,
king nine.
A9, it is, we're
It
only
is
here with the
only
combo of spades.
okay.
And
So
he shoved,
then-
so we only have calls.
We're folding a lot of queens here. Queen jack, even though that block is straight. We just don't. We're folding most of our queens except for our two pairs. Queen eight, queen nine blocks is straight,
Yeah, blocks the value.
and so we're folding a lot of ace queen. Pure fold of king queen. This is
Mhm.
actually why poker is fucking hard.
We do not
But
want
when
to
you
have,
get to this node, you need to just fucking fold because the big bet.
yeah, we don't want to have a king in our hand because he has to bluff here with kings a lot. We want
So-
to have nothing in our hand. We want to have queen nine. Blocking the straight and having the top pair. It's queen nine is even better than ace queen here. Blocking the straight value.
Yeah, we're assuming he's not. What do you mean we don't want the king because we're blocking the king? The
So
king
he has
queen?
to, when he gets here with king high, right? When his straight draw bricks
So
out.
king jack is only straight draw. I guess that's the big straight draw though, the big mama straight draw.
King jack and ace king.
Oh, okay. Like I
Right.
guess does ace king put stuff the turkey?
Well, remember the flop went check, check. So he bets big with ace king on the turn and then stuffs the turkey with it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we really don't want to have a king here blocking his bluffs. And we do want to have a 9 blocking his jack 9 straight when the 8 completes it on the turn. So that's why it chooses queen 9 to call with and not ace queen very often and never king queen. Solver mechanics. In
Yeah, makes sense.
Ace jack.
And he has spaderoos.
Yeah, look at that. He goes with the polarized bet there. And if the flush doesn't come, I wonder if he still stuffs the turkey. I'm gonna change that for us and take a look.
I think our strategy is changing when there's no flush on the board because I feel like we have flushes in our range that can
When-
comfortably, like our range can comfortably. When the flush doesn't complete, I think yeah, the queens are coming back in. Okay. I'm not crazy. I need to be more. I need to stop being a fucking fish on the boards where. Oh, we're looking at his strategy now.
Yeah, I changed it to flush not completing.
And now
And-
his value bet range changes completely. He has kings in his value bet, but he also has the queens to value bet, and then he has
All his aces check to show down. Right? Before his ace king was betting and his ace jack was betting.
He doesn't jam any of
Yes.
his busted FTs.
6, 7.
We
So
look at just what he
basically
jams.
his pure bottom of his range. His bottom of the range is still king X. Or is king five suited? Is that only the spades
James
or is that a bluff?
So 6-5. Oh, he turns a gut shot 7. That's why he's here with 6-5. And 7-6. Say these busted straight draws here to bluff. A lot of these are busted straight draws that just decide to stuff the turkey. Right, then combine that with his straight that's completed, Jack 9, stuffs the turkey.
So he checks his ace highs because he has marginal showdown.
Yeah,
But
he checks.
his low card flush draws.
So we'll change this back here. And we'll take a look at his flush draws.
Oh, queens are betting small. What in the hell?
So here's his flush draws. His queen high flush draws bet. His ace high flush draws mostly check. And his 9-6 and 9-7 wrapping around the 8 check, giving up. Yeah, all his aces, ace high flush draws the brick, they just show down. Except for his wheel ace, which was the straight draw as well. It goes for a bluff. Because it can't show down against better ones, and the deuce made a pair on the river. So it bluffs the bottom 2 aces, and then just calls all the rest with his brick flush draws, or just checks all the rest with the flush draws. Same with some of these kings, ones with straight blockers blocking our value. Okay.
Thanks, Pete.
No problem. Pretty crazy spot. All right. Low jack position, ace 10. Suited.
I think this calls.
Easy call. He leads micro.
Is this a question of protection? Do we need protection? And if we need protection, don't need protection, so we just call.
Yeah, I would think so.
We want to
Pure
keep him on the
call.
line. Yep, 88% call and a tiny bit of clicking it. Now he checks. So I am thinking we do want to protect ourselves against the flush draw. I think I'm gonna bet this size.
Yeah, charges draws.
If he has a hand like ace 4 or like ace 5 or ace deuce, he's gonna pay. If he turned equity with the flush draw, I think he's gonna pay.
When you're sizing your bet here, when the flush draw comes in, are you thinking about a price that is good for the flush draw?
No,
Or
I'm
you don't
thinking about
want to.
sorry, I think I'm thinking about a price that's bad for the flush draw. The flush draw is gonna have straight up probably 20% equity here. Right?
So you don't want to price it out. Right?
Yeah.
You want to keep the flush draw in.
You want to keep the flush draw in. Like you might even be able to get away with this to price a flush draw in. But I think he also
yeah.
has to call with enough aces that it's going to be okay to bet this size too.
Yeah, it's
It
checking to go to showdown.
checks. Alright, it decides that it is not a 3 street hand, so there was betting on the flop. This is, I guess, a medium strength hand. It's probably gonna bet with better aces. Because we do flat ace queen here, so maybe it's betting ace queen and ace jack and just checking ace 10.
The solver does like going to the showdown with just aces, so.
Yeah, it's betting ace
Yes.
queen and a bit of ace jack. And ace 10 just fits nicely in its checking range. It's still, and then it bets its 2 pairs as well. Okay. So I am just a little bit greedy here. Right? I would almost certainly be betting ace jack here. So we should go for the check. And now he checks again.
How
Is
many fives does he have in this room? She'd only have ace fives. So you could-
Yeah, if he's checking back here, you're just checking to take it down.
ace five suited is double flop, so I think we have some value.
So he only has suited ace fives, so he can't have ace 5 of spades and he can't have ace 5 of clubs. He only has ace 5 of hearts and ace 5 of diamonds. I guess if we get check raised, it's pretty bad. But I feel like we're leaving value on the table. I wanted to bet this size before. I still want to bet this size now.
I like 6.
And
Yeah.
solver check the river, it's gonna check. On a brick, it's gonna check the turn too.
Okay.
Oh, it does
Okay.
bet. Well,
So I guess we have bluffs that are gonna, like, we get here on the river and we're gonna have some cards that bluff. So,
what's it doing with the small aces then? Because usually, I guess all your small aces are on the board.
yeah, let's take a peek at the range here. Yeah,
Yeah, it's betting all
Because
those.
because we check the turn, everything, all the aces get
Yeah,
the bet.
they're all.
They're all betting for value. The 8s are all checking. And because we have enough 2-pair combos, we have lots of 2-pair combos here. And we have a few straights here, right? When we have 4, 5, and 5, 6 suited, so. We have enough value hands that 8s check. 9s checks, 10s check, jacks check, queens check, kings check, kings. Don't even go for a thin value bet on the river with kings. Man, I am greedy in this spot. I am definitely betting those.
I feel like because out of position, you really don't want, you have to have a higher equity of bet in position.
Yeah, I
Because
guess I'm
the equity of checking is much higher
I'm not
than the
used to
equity
playing.
of checking out of position and facing a bet.
Yeah, we don't usually play in positions, so that's probably if you're out of position, you'd want to check that ace back, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
mean,
think it's a pure call.
your call. I like the sound of that. Okay.
The
Paired both.
purest call, like white dress on a wedding.
All right, up the hill, out to the chapel. Let's go get a wedding with King Jack of Diamonds. We get this
I
lovely
like
pair.
checking, but I don't know, maybe I should be betting small. But no, but they don't have as many auto folds. But do they have a check raise? I like checking.
He's definitely check raising ace 4. Is he opening king 4 here? Maybe not.
Yeah, it's like, what is the purpose of a bet is mainly what I'm thinking. Now, I don't know the strategy of like when we check back in this kind of pot. And then they will bet small or bet large, I think is a preferred sizing on a lot of the turns. Because we do have to defend turns
Mhm.
that we check.
I wonder if an advantage of betting here is that fold out his ace highs, folding out a better hand.
I don't think they fold ace highs unless we bet big, but I think we're supposed to bet. Actually, betting small doesn't make sense. We do have some. I don't think we call deuces as often. I say if like this board was like 5-4-4.
If we bet 1.4 chips, is he gonna call with 89 of clubs?
No, I think they can just check fold if they have 8-9 of clubs.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna wanna pick one of these sizes a lot when it bets, and I think it's gonna bet a lot here. He just doesn't have that many fours in range.
Guess we probably do bet more on the paired board, like just to target some of their clean out some equity. No, I was right the first time. I hate you guys.
There you go.
I
Talked
said
her out of
we're
it.
checking here because like we don't
It's a
have
small board. It's a
the
small
low
paired
jack
board.
doesn't have as many auto folds on this,
So to get the auto folds, you need to size up a little bit. So it's choosing here
We
11
don't-
or 9. So 80% check.
Check just makes the most sense. I gotta not let y'all tag me out, but because this is a spot where they don't have much auto folds on this board that are better than
Okay.
our hand.
Now,
Now I think if they check again, then we're gonna be betting on the big side.
okay. You want to bet on the big side. We still only have king high.
Yeah, I think our bluffs have to wait, but then if we check.
You don't have any bluffs.
We
You're all
still
value right now.
have we still have a lot
have
of our
value-
value hands.
You
that
have
we check.
value now, so you're just either checking or betting small again.
I don't know if we bet small as much on the turn. Plus, if we have
Like a
value,
2-3.
we want to get the money in.
I don't think you're going half, or I don't think you're going half pot here. You're beginning going quarter checking.
So now we can target the
I don't think
clubs,
you
the
quarter
hearts,
the turn.
the spades.
No, no, I don't like quartering the turn. I like half or
Okay.
2/3 preferably.
Oh, Viv's going crazy. All right. I think I'm here, but let's take a peek.
Oh, I suck.
Just check.
It's
Yeah, it was gonna be
still
checker.
checking.
I guess it's like we maybe don't want to be wasting our hand if he decides to jam us.
Yeah,
It's
our
not
hand
gonna
is
be
just
fun.
trying
So
to
just check.
realize equity.
Yeah.
This is now, this is the other thing is this is now our best king high when the queen comes.
Yeah.
So if we're finding any checks with a king, it's this combo. So it's probably checking most of its aces that don't also have a 3 or a 5. And then this combo of kings as well. But it's okay if you find a bet here. He is just not to turn up the volume quite so much.
Poker is so weird, yo.
No, we.
People keep saying that
Now
it's
we check.
easy, and I'm like, get the hell out.
Well, it's easy if you bet big all the time and they fold.
Yeah,
Pure check.
we played this hand amazingly, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
You just showed
yeah,
down?
actually, one of the another group that
Oh.
I'm in, they say like, yeah, poker it's easy when your value bets all get called by worse and your bluffs always get folds.
Yeah. And you
But
bet-
then you always win your all ins. And those days you're like, I'm a god, I'm the best at poker. And whenever you bluff catch, it works.
Look at this guy trying to set us up by checking that river, eh?
Yeah.
Peter, do we never bluff this ace on the river in position because aces make up such a large part of his range and he's trying to check down?
Well, this is our nut unpaired hand. When the ace comes, all the king highs are the best unpaired hand. And so like the king highs are just going to check, right?
Okay.
We're going to be betting our jack high, our 10 high, our 9 high, although they have a lot of other streets that they bet on.
So we probably do have some bluffs with our entire range that
Yeah.
to
You're
this
just
river,
gonna let sixes
but not
win
with our
like this,
king, because
Peter.
our
You're
pairs
just
are
gonna
kings
let
and that's-
sixes just win. You serious? You serious, bro?
We're going to bluff king 3 and king 5 that have the that block the value and unblock the diamonds. So we're going to be betting king 5 of spades and king 3 of spades on this river. It's kind of my guess.
I think they're gonna be betting, it's gonna be betting
So
all its
when he
pairs though.
shows down fives, you're just gonna be like, I love poker.
King 5, king 3, all the kings just check. All the king's horses and all the king's men
Actually
didn't do
though,
anything but check again.
I learned this is a single race pot, right? I learned in the Matt Affleck webinar when they was talking about the c betting that like low jack can actually be c betting probably 40% of the time, range wise, versus button because it's
Yep.
further away from the razor. And so on this board, you're right that they're probably going to be betting.
They
a
should be
lot
betting
of
all their pairs.
especially their 5s and 6s. And I want to see if I'm right. I want
Check-
to see their c
Yeah,
betting.
click on the low jack there.
Low jack.
Yeah.
So his leads on the flop
Gonna be all the
Uh,
pairs.
is
Not all of them
30%.
because he's
Yeah.
doing he's actually betting 5s and 6s less than I thought.
He'll be
He's-
betting them with
But
the
he's betting the
backdoors.
7s, 8s, and 9s more often. I guess because then he can get called by the 5s and 6s. So 7s, 8s, and 9s are like and 6s. But it looks like it gets hierarchical up to 10s, which can withstand some check calling and check raising. What does he do? Does he check raise if the button is betting here? If he check,
So-
what is he? Now I want to know what
so-
our pair strategy is here.
Sure. So on 4-4 deuce, he starts with 5s and ends with aces.
Mhm.
5s need the most protection and are the most vulnerable. So they want to bet. But they also don't want to put a lot of money in the pot because we flat, remember, 6s, 7s, and 9s and 10s here. So they want to bet a lot and they want to bet small. 6s bet a little bit more. 7s bet a little bit more and size up. They need fold equity. They are best right now, but they are very vulnerable. Right? 5s and 6s also interact with the straight, so they have a little bit of backdoor potential here, so they don't need to drive as much with the big sizing. So 7s, 8s, and 9s are betting a lot and are using the big sizing. They say, we are best right now. We want to put in 8 big blinds into this pot. We are over betting. 10s all of a sudden start to flip. They still do a fair amount of betting and have some big betting, but they say, we just want people to call with these hands because the guy's never folding. So he leads smaller with 10s and jacks and queens and kings and just checks aces pretty pure. And then all of these ones that are that have a big check range are going to have a big check raise range. So when he checks and we stab, his response, look at the check raises. Everything here wants to have a party. 8s plus, 7s plus, it is check raise time, and aces just call. So yeah, his strategy on this board is going to be driven by his already made hands, right? Which are all of these over pairs. And the ones
And
that
then ace king suited is somehow in there raising.
as well, it's a bluff, right? It's a bluff that mirrors his best value hand, pocket kings. So he just chooses that one.
I think it's also for board coverage. Actually, that's what I was looking at. He said that, like, yeah, well, you don't want to
Yeah.
raise and then never have aces and kings.
Yeah, and
if
he
they know
checks
that
the
you're
most
not
with ace king of clubs here. All of the backdoor ones are pure.
nice. I need to start doing that shit.
So gross spot shows up with ace king on the river. What type of maniac does that? All right, pocket eights. We've seen this before. Are we gonna take the raise line here or the call?
Oh my goodness, wouldn't he freaking bet sixes himself on the damn river and then we have to call with worse, like our eight? Yeah, maybe no, maybe not, maybe, because actually, never mind, the run out came out horrible for the other hand.
All right.
Anyway, call,
Small raise.
But we know that this is a raise spot here. There's an island and pocket eights are on that island. They were the ones that want to raise. Low cards, flush draw, jack high board. Check. Or bet.
I think this is a check back.
Very high frequency check. You can get after it a little bit with a tiny bet, probably because you have the spade. Ooh. Well, are we giving up?
Yeah, I'm folding eights here.
All right, we learned our lesson before. We're calling with some ace three and stuff like that rather than pocket eights. 99%. Oh boy.
I love
I've-
poker.
I think I found a leak in my game. I'm very inclined to call against the big bet here.
Yeah, you just don't have any outs there at all, right?
I knew he was
Damn, you
bluffing.
got bluffed.
Yeah, but if he
But, you know,
turns
he had a
an
lot of
ace or a queen,
outs,
he's got
and then he
six.
can-
Yeah,
Yep.
he's got a ton of outs there.
Yeah, he's got
About
10
10
outs.
outs.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, he could even convince me on more cards than those that he has me beat by just stuffing the river. Right? If a 9 comes, I'm probably going to fold. So that brings him 3 more outs. If a spade comes, well, I have a spade. I'm probably going to have to call. But yeah, gross.
And then you're like, how did I get all the chips in the middle? What the hell?
Ace king. Is anyone flatting here?
Pure
Wasn't it a flat in the other lesson? I think it's a 3-bet in
Not
40
at
big
40.
blinds.
40 is the raise.
I think it's a flat more when I don't like flatting it.
20 or 30.
I don't
And
think it ever
generally it's to
flats. I think either it shoves 20, but I digress.
What about ace king offsuit? Are you guys flatting ace king offsuit or 3-betting ace king offsuit?
Always 3-bet.
it could flat. Ace king off can flat. It's the opposite of shoving, usually.
Okay.
I think ace king off will shove more than the suited variety because the suited variety has more playability.
Let's take a peek at that. It is
I don't
3-betting
think at
pure
this
here.
time that we always 3-bet. We're 3-bet
Oh,
pure.
I'm just staying corrected.
So there's a tiny bit. Remember here, we're finding our 3-bets with 10s, jacks, and queens.
But it was
Brings
like
us in
100 big blinds deep where we saw flat of ace king sometimes.
Sure.
Mainly. Because a lot of times I forgot what positions it was though, but it's like, yeah, sometimes you do mix it in. Deeper stacked.
Yeah. So here, remember our strategy. We're attacking with the best blocker and the 10 jack and queen here, and the 9 and 8 and 7 here. So we're going to attack here and here. And so we need a little bit of really strong hands in our flatting range. So it chooses this one, right? It still wants to get value with this hand, which is just a value driven hand. Oh, all right. 3-bet pot. It is fat. How big are you going to see that?
I think this
Or are
is
you
still a B25.
Okay, so he's going to be 4.1.
Yeah, I'd say 4.1. You don't need to bet big here because he's
Ooh, I'm so
gonna be 4-betting his aces, his ace kings.
I'm
You beat
so
ace
green.
queens.
But I think you're driven mostly by geometric sizing. I think
I think on a flush draw board, I think I'm going to size up. I'm going to pick this one. We'll take a look here. Nope, I am sizing up inappropriately. We can definitely go quarter pot here and even smaller too.
It does size up versus a big blind, but not in the 3-bet pot.
Yeah. All right, happy day. Are we shoving it?
Yep, ship it.
I don't think
Yeah.
we do. I think we want to keep his bluffs in. I think call.
No, your SPR is 1. You just put it in.
I would put it in actually, like the board's fairly dynamic in a way. I mean, not really. I would just
I
put
like
it
a call
in.
just because a raise is just going to fall down. These bluffs.
His bluffs here are probably going to be equity driven. They're probably going to be driven by the flush.
So he's going to get
So-
that in anyway.
Yeah, like here's the thing. He's gonna have, like, when we stuff it in, he only has 20 behind and there's gonna be 40 something in the pot. So his flush is gonna still be priced in to call with 2 streets to come. So I don't think it's a mistake to shove here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's solver's always shoving with an SPR 1.
Yeah.
If you have equity.
Great realization, great understanding of that spot arm. Saw this one a little bit earlier today. And it just takes ace king and ace queen and says, this is our best ace. You can't beat ace king. It's functionally the nuts here. If you have a set of 5s, take all our chips.
Because he has some 4 bets with his ace queens as well, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Oh, not the population would, but yeah.
Yeah,
You have the
gonna
best
be-
ace right now. Ace king, you have the best ace, so.
Yeah, we have the effective nuts. If you show us a set of 5s, take the money.
Yeah.
And he folds
Sevens,
pockets.
yeah.
All right, king jack off. Hijack.
I think this is a 3-bet. I think
Yeah,
this is your favorite 3-bet spot, isn't it, Peter?
Let's go.
3
I'm
bet.
clicking this very, very frequently, and it's a flat. There are worse ones. King 10 and queen jack are going to be your bluffs here. Right? Those ones are going to do a little bit more. King jack is still bluffing here, so if you find it, it's okay. I find it a lot. Yeah. King 10 and queen jack, but I am also bluffing this one here and treating it very much like these two.
Yeah,
which
me
is-
too. And usually I call king, queen.
Yeah, when you
Off.
look at it, calling and 3-betting are the same equity. So if you're in here 3-betting it pretty aggressively, you're not going to be in a bad spot.
And the other thing I've noticed too a lot is ace queen is calling a lot in these spots. Ace
Yeah.
queen off, you're not 3-betting that ace queen off.
You need to
lot of
protect your
spots.
flatting range.
I
Right.
think it's because I've been actually flatting the ace queen off more often. Especially it's on which positions are you supposed to be flatting the ace queen off? But I have been flatting it more often because it's like when you 3-bet and get 4-bet, they are 4-betting with weaker hands, but you fucking can't call
Yeah,
this 40
Well-
big blind jam. So you can't call a 4-bet. But you
Yeah.
also don't want to get 4-bet off your range and do you
Yeah,
really want to
well-
bloat the pot with the ace queen off?
When we go through the spots, look at ace queen off versus the cutoff, it's a pure call. The hijack, it's a pure call. The low jack, it's almost a pure call. Under the gun, it's still frequently a call. Sorry, under the gun 1 and under the gun, it is still frequently a call. If you make ace queen off your call, you just keep in all the worst aces other than ace king. You keep in all the worst queens other than other than ace queen. this is the hand that keeps the opponent the widest the most. And so ace queen, consider almost never 3-betting ace queen.
The ace queen and the ace king off, I haven't been 3-betting as much just because of that reason.
Yeah, against
Keeps
early
those high
position,
ends. Yeah.
keep them in. Right, as the positions go around the clock, your ace king just wants to get value.
Yeah.
Right, against the wider and wider ranges.
Nice. That's actually good heuristic for the ace king.
Yeah.
Because you probably only want, I guess, flat it versus early position. But then ace queen, you're like, well, and I used to mark people a fish when they didn't 3-bet ace queen. Like, do they not know how to play poker? Ace queen's the hand. But now I'm like, oh shoot, maybe I'm the fish. Poker,
So here we
that's what I
3-bet
say
use
all
a
the
flip flop.
time.
Yeah.
But all you have to do is pick up a few of these little notes, right? And get your database going, and pretty soon you're
I'm already
Yeah.
a damn 85 and 89% GTO wizard score.
Yeah.
On
If
my two,
you-
I only put in 2 tournaments, but that's my sample. I got 85 and an 89.
If you build yourself a database with some notes and some charts that you swipe from the other coaches and from GTO Wizard and stuff like that,
yeah,
you
like
can
all
build
the
yourself.
all the charts are free on GTO Wizard too, right? So, or if you have poker
Nice,
coaching, same thing.
nice.
Even your
Yeah.
3-bets and everything, like the whole.
My friend Louis Philippe and his buddy Yoss did some work with doing some charting with some range construction, some betting frequencies and stuff like that. So I have those different spots for different things. And so when I do some study work with myself or another person, we'll go through all of those and take a look at those heuristics. GTO Wizard has those type of things too, less condensed format, but they're definitely in this tool section in reports. Ace Jack, hijack, high frequency call. Yeah, your 10 high board. All right, who wants to check? Who wants to bet?
I want to check. Although maybe I was like learning this and I just started checking so many times in the spot. Wait, it's not a 3-bet pot, right?
No,
No, single
single
raise.
raise pot. Yeah, ace jack.
Yeah. I
I
think
think
it,
this is heavy check.
I think you're
I think it
checking. He
makes
still
a
has
good
range advantage
check.
on the 10 high board.
I do think we need to bet some ace highs, but I think we can check this fine.
All
I
right,
think
let's take
when
a
he
look.
has range and nut advantage there on a 10 high board, I think you just got to check it back.
So if you look here,
Although that's out of
Um,
position, in position, so much more.
against the hijack, we are choosing to check raise with this 10, with this 10, with these 10s, with this 10, with this 10, and with this 10. We only are calling pure with these 3 10s. So I think we're going to have a very polarized strategy around the 10s. I think we are going to be betting big when we bet, and we are going to be betting very infrequently because we just do not have a lot of 10s here, right? 10s and 9s, because of where we 3-bet from, are going to be a cards that we check or bet big with. So I don't think this is a spot where we get to range that, but we'll check and take a look. Ten, 6, 4. We are checking 50% of range. We are betting small a third of the time, and we are betting big 15% of the time. And our big bets are with our best 10s, as we thought. Our best 10s over here.
Yeah.
That's a very linear progression of betting with our tens.
And our over pairs. Right, we have very low frequency of flatting these, but when we're here with them, we get there. get these big bets. And then some bluffs that wrap around the 10. Queen 9, King 9, Jack 9. Right? Queen Jack, King Jack. Queen Jack, King Jack, Jack 10. And then a little bit of betting with some trash at the bottom end. Yeah. There is more of this size betting than I thought there would be. Thought we would be a little more polar in this spot, but I guess we do have some connection here with the 6 and the 4, with lots of 5s and 7s here still, so. A queen and he checks again.
I
Well,
think we get a stab size here. 2.4.
I think I would stab
Yeah,
King Jack and not
I think
Ace
you're still
Jack.
checking here.
Yeah, I think
Just
I'm good
because the
at-
queen hasn't changed your range. You're not advantage at all, right? So
Not really, but he has, yeah. He doesn't have very many 10s now. I guess he still checks the 10 when the queen comes. It is pure checking. King Jack, maybe a little bit more of a bet, or King 9, maybe more of a bet.
same thing. You're going for all your king or your 10s and your king 9s, king 8s.
King Jack, King 9, King 8, King 7. All of those ones want to bet. All the aces still just want to check for the most part. Right? Ace deuce, ace 3 that no longer have the straight equity. They want to bet. They can't turn a straight card. So those are the aces that want to bet here.
It's interesting that our weakest queens now just made top pair. Want to check back. Maybe it's just mind control.
Well, remember, he still had, like, he checked that flop. He still has, if he's checking most of his range, he still has all kinds of queens in his range.
He's got all his ace kings, all his ace queens, all his queens. Now he puts it in. Now we just have to fold.
I think MDF allows us to make some calls here. To small bet.
It's only 1.5 chips. And this is because we don't have ace king in range very much here. This is our best non-paired hand. I think I'm going to try and find a call here against this very micro size. It is mixing a call, a raise, and a fold. If you're folding here, you also have to bluff just as often with it.
Yeah, they're
And
both.
that is a gross bluff.
It's all a 0 EV call or check, or it's all zeros.
I'm never finding that bluff. Are you ever finding it, Peter?
No, I take a look and I say, this is my best unpaired ace for this size. I am always calling here.
He's always gonna have a pair here though, so
I mean, I actually like found out during I was folding too much to the river probes too. So now that I got GTO wizard again, I probably have to fucking use it. Because every time I buy a month of it, it means I probably study. But like this, the turn probes that you can actually bluff against. But that's the different spot. But this is like the river, just the tiny river bet. It's like you can bluff sometimes.
Look at him trying to bait us with 2 pair and goes for that micro bet. Gets us to call with ace high like a fish.
Well, you have to have strong hands in small bet range because sometimes the solver is going to raise you with ace jack of clubs.
wow. And it went
He
check,
took-
check, right?
He
So,
took one look at me and he said, you know what? This guy, he studies GTO wizard. I know he's gonna call me with ace high if I bet that size. I'm gonna bet 1.5 chips.
I love
Reels me into
finding
the boat.
I love finding those micro bets though, and then getting called by worse. And then
Yeah.
they're just like, oh shit, I had to pay to see it. Oh, nice.
that's how you build your pot. Little bets on those boards.
All right, king 5. This has got to be close to bottom of range.
Yeah, I don't think we 3-bet this though. I think we just call.
Yeah, this would just be a call, if not a fold, to be on the bottom. That's a call.
Okay. It's not a mistake to fold this hand. It is mixing heavily.
It's 0 EV.
Yeah, I am leaning towards this, but you know, we just flick in a couple of chips. We don't like how this guy's looking at us over here. Oh, my hands are burning.
So we have the nut advantage here, right? Because we have the 4s and the 6s. We have more
Yeah.
stats than Dylan. So yeah, I could see your point.
He'll have range advantage, we'll have nut advantage.
Yeah.
So do you like a polarized bet size here?
I don't think we need to, right? We have a lot of cards that we could
We have a
double
lot of
barrel on
equity
the
here.
turn. So I think I'm gonna bet small and frequently.
Yeah, I think the 2.3.
Small
And
and
then-
frequently.
Then you have some
Little bit of check.
cards. Any card should be decent here, as long as it's not a high card. Oh, they
Ooh,
love check raising.
flicks it.
Nobody ever check raises this much.
All right, so he gives us almost a 4x sizing.
Oh,
I
you gotta
think we have
call.
enough backdoor equity to call.
Yeah,
Maybe
we have a guy.
The gut shot in the back door, we have to call. As much as I don't like calling here, you have to call.
And an over. The king's
Yeah.
probably pretty good for us here. Your call. Doesn't look good. Now we kind of regret it, wish we'd checked.
Yeah.
What's this? He check raises us and then checks.
Smells like a set to me.
So does that play make sense with pocket nines and pocket tens here? It just got downgraded to marginal hands.
Yeah, because the solver does like check raising the overs, right? Or the high
He's gonna check raise a lot with a 9 or a 10 in his hand.
nines, 8, yeah. Nines, tens.
We don't really have any showdown here. We still have king high.
Yeah.
I'm inclined
we-
to pick up the bet again.
Are we betting or are we checking back?
So SPR is getting interesting.
Well, that's what I mean, right? We bet he jams.
We fold.
Yeah.
But he's gonna have some give ups with spades now. We block hearts, which is bad. Probably want this with king 5 of clubs.
I think we're missing check and bet here. Yeah, check and back.
And when it chooses to bet, it bets smaller to reduce the to not reduce the stack to pot ratio to make it easier for it to call. Yeah, check is also just fine here. And try and realize equity and gin. Do we have any sizing other than all in?
Not with the SPR the way it is. I think it's not quite one.
So if we're putting them on a nines and tens, question to ask is what will nines and tens call? And I think they're more likely to call 15 than they are to shove.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think you're half potting here. You're not shoving here because you have the nuts.
Well, we actually have second nuts, right? Like 9-10 would be in his
Yeah.
range. So let's take a peek.
We're shoving
Mixing
still.
heavily.
Yeah.
But
It loves
yeah,
to shove on SPR1 or close to 1. It's just putting it all in.
but it does make it easy for him to call wider here, which is I think what it's looking to do. Right on the 4-liner, you just give him an easy reason. Let him find reasons to call and get half pot. And going for full max value, the EV difference is identical here. So, right?
Yeah, it's
You're-
indifferent. So whichever one you choose is fine.
All right, let's do 1 or 2 more, and then we'll wrap up for the night. Oh, he check raised us. You
Well,
believe the goal of this guy?
God
Check
damn
raise
it.
flop, check raise river. Well, are we gonna pay 14 more chips to see 9-10?
Yep,
You're right.
because
Go
he
with
should have
9-10.
bet. Oh, there it is, 9-10, or 10-9.
So he check raises it and then checks the river. Lands us
Oh
in the
my
boat.
gosh, that's such a fun line though. Check raise, check raise.
Well, it was funny because like I said, hey, does he do that with 9-10? Yeah, he does that with 9-10 when
Yeah.
that queen comes. All right.
Yeah, you're just going broke. They're going broke there. That's all. Is what it
Uh,
is. Gone broke for less.
9-8. How frequently are we 3-betting this one?
We'll get some three bets, I think. It'd be
Very.
just call.
I think you're calling 80% check and raising maybe 20. It's not very big check raise. Spot, I don't think, if I remember right. Pure
It's
call.
even better than that. It is pure call. So along that pair access.
Because there's some 7-6s that are check raising there, right?
Yeah, against the hijack, we target even the lower part of this range, right? He's going to be opening his offsuit 9s, so we're going to be looking to target more with the 8s and the 7s.
Yeah, 8-7, 7-6 would be check raising there.
Oh, just to give up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty clean and easy. Gross. Oh. 3-bet pretty pure.
Yeah.
All 2.5%. Gotta be tricky very once in a while.
It's called a calculation error.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
call.
easy game. Ace 3.
Fade the ace.
Good luck. All right. Jack 8. So here an 8. Jack.
I think we next three bets and calls him.
Yeah, it's a mix. I think.
Okay. Which do we want to try today?
I'm gonna
That's-
try call. No,
Let's
three
3
bet.
bet it. Let's get spicy.
All right. We're ordering spicy eggs for breakfast tomorrow. Yeah, it is definitely okay. to
Ew,
get
it's
after
a
it.
nice mix.
Nice mix.
Don't fold it though. Believe in the J8. Since we
Yay.
3-bet, I think I like a half pot.
Yeah, I hear you getting dicey though, because the Jack 10-9 is in his wheelhouse for calling. So
Uh-huh.
I mean,
10,
it actually
9 with the
does make
flush
an
draw.
efficient check as well. Oh my gosh, I love poker, but it doesn't
I
love
think you can
me.
check back here some, but I would just bet it. But I don't think you're betting big here.
All
I
right.
think we might get some big bets here. But I want to say for protection, that doesn't make any sense because I don't know. what protection is.
I think this board texture is going to lead to some big bets. I think there's going to be some ace kings and ace queens that hover around this size. King queen is going to, I guess king queen's made Jack 10-9. So maybe it's going to drive down the sizing. I think maybe ace king and ace queen are going to choose more of this size. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
this
this
is going to
half
be a big.
pot.
Let's take a peek.
E50.
50 or 25? It is
Check, yeah, it is
primarily
a high check just because of he has nut advantage right now.
what's a 3-bet pot. We 3-bet this combo.
I know, but we have range advantage, but he has nut advantage on a Jack 10-9 because he's 4-betting everything else and he's calling all the jacks, all his 10s, all his 9s.
But we also have those too, right? Like he doesn't have any more nut advantage than we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We are not here, so let's take that check line.
So check was like the double check, like best answer, right?
100% check there on that board.
Yeah,
Or,
I
well,
was
90%,
saying
right?
that, and then I was like, wait, this is like our best fucking check candidate. Like,
Can
what
we
are
have
we
a,
doing?
oh, I was gonna say, can we have a quick look at the
I
Sure.
think we call this
two ranges
obviously.
there?
Sure.
Because we,
So yeah, his strategy on this is pure check.
pure check, but that's, and then what's our, where are we at?
Our strategy is
Yeah, so we don't have as many jacks, tens or nines as, well, we got a few nines, but he's got all of them, right? So,
We
Problem
want to
is
get a
we-
little fancy here and look at the equity graph and see he does
Sure.
something that, and, range advantage.
equity. Okay.
oh, where's the squiggly lines?
I think it's under ranges.
Yeah. There it
There
is.
it is.
So here we go. So we are the green line, and so we are winning all throughout.
But at the
And then it
top end, what's
crosses
he
over.
got?
And then we are the same here.
So we have, so I consider that, tell me if I'm misreading this, but on the right, most part of the graph is the nut advantage expressed. Is that right? The
Yeah,
nut
here's
advantage
the
is
nut.
visualized.
Yeah, at the end is king queen, which is the straight, and king queen of spades particularly. So the nut advantage is very close here. And we have a slight range advantage throughout.
Yeah. It'll just be this big pocket at the top where he's got nut advantage, which is which cards there. Just scroll down into that,
Yeah, king queen of spades.
but down just a bit where it really gaps out here.
Right
Right
here.
there, right in there. You
King
scroll
queen.
across there
Oh, king queen offsuit.
and then keep going to the left there. Keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, it's all his king queen
Yeah,
offsuit.
all the offsuit stuff. Because we would
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
he has king queen offsuit here a lot against this medium part of our range. Right. So when you look at it here, we have it at low frequency and we have it at no frequency here.
Yeah.
And he has it at full frequency on both.
So that, yeah, so that's where you're checking back on that. Okay,
We have
makes
to
sense.
protect ourselves against the king queen.
The king queen, which he has all of them, right? So, yep.
We just check top pair. And top pair with a straight draw. I don't think we're folding.
I think you're, I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
starting to
call.
fold. It is very low EV to call here with top pair and a straight draw.
Yeah, you're 0.02 EV. It's like, ugh,
Yeah, we
you don't
really
even
need
want to be in that spot.
Yeah, we really need a 7 or lower on the river here probably to continue.
It's perfectly indifferent.
And here you're
I
just
think we can
folding.
fold.
Fold for a half pot with top pair.
Good point. And everything missed, all his bluffs missed.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's got king, queen. He's got 7, 8.
Yep.
He's got sets.
I think I told myself on the turn that I was going to call if I call the turn bet,
Yeah.
I'm calling on a 7 or lower on the river that doesn't complete the flush. Yeah.
Still
If
are
you-
0 EV.
Yeah, if you want to, if you're not planning on calling the 3 of diamonds on the river, you shouldn't
Yeah,
call
no,
the
it makes sense. Yeah.
and he just gets to show us the nuts.
King, queen, yeah.
All right. Let's find one more good one and then we'll wrap up here. All right. Ace 8. Ooh, low jack.
It's a fold.
It's a fold.
The fold?
Yeah, I think you're 9 and higher, aren't you?
Yeah, great job, guys. Way to recognize bottom of range. I left a few bottom of range hands in here just to make sure that we would get some of those situations coming up. Ace
Oh,
deuce.
so you did filter it for like, so we're not seeing like deuce 4 and like it was, or like 9 deuce or something.
Yeah, I did
Call.
prune the range a little bit.
It's a pure call.
There we go.
Cause sometimes you're drilling this and it's like pre-flop low, little day, and it's like, get the fudge. Oh my goodness, oh my gosh. I don't know if we
Ace high,
raised
you're
so much in position.
No, I think we're just calling with the back door there with the ace high.
Yeah, I mean, calling makes sense.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's starting to mix
mixing
folds.
Like, I didn't feel good about it because, like, yeah, we only have backdoors, and that's great if you're raising, but it's not so great if you're just
Oh,
flatting. But then it's
he's-
good if you're in position. But then it's
he's
like,
dang.
really? 10 and
Easy
9
fold. It's
interact
a
with
zero. It
all
was a
the-
0 EV call on the turn, so
Yeah, we can't pick up equity, and so he
Lewis
gets
was
it.
like, don't say if you had a bad feeling to explain your thought process. And I was
Yep.
like, but if you have enough pattern recognition from playing poker, sometimes.
But again, remember the 9 paired on the turn, and the 9 is a card that we have 3-bet a lot, so we don't have it when we don't have a 3-bet pot. So he says, okay, this guy doesn't have as many 10s, which was on the flop, and when the 9
Yeah,
pairs,
which
it's
is why I
double
was
barrels.
thinking about like the way the runouts could roll when the 10 and the 9 already have interaction with. Both of our ranges actually 10, 9 interacts with. So we don't really have to make those dirty floats.
Ooh,
Oh, we call.
yeah, you get one. You call one.
I'm calling 4 streets. What are you talking about?
4 streets. All right, crazy. Boy.
I'm calling the ocean.
Okay, it's this one wants to get after it. I guess we're blocking. Oh, we're blocking the combo where he has a deuce with ace deuce
Yeah.
because he doesn't have ace deuce of clubs, so he has no deuces in range. So our blocker effect makes us want to raise here.
Oh, because we're blocking quads. Good point.
Yeah, we're blocking the deuce of clubs, which is the only deuce that he's going to have in this spot. So
And
he
that'll be a
chooses this
king.
hand to bluff. Oh boy. Looks like he's going to triple barrel us.
I think this is where we say, I don't believe you, and just close. If your explanation is correct, let's test it out.
Or give him the turn raise.
If your explanation that he doesn't have ace deuce is correct, then why not?
Yeah, he's got
But
all
if-
the pairs though.
If we had quad deuces, would we want to raise?
Are we gonna call and then raise the river? Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm buckled in.
Yeah, you're full.
We're-
You're mixing.
We're
We're
losing chips
mixing
and still
calls.
calling.
We're mixing calls, you guys. We're not mixing folds. It's mixing, but we're mixing calls. Remember.
It's still a 0 EV play.
Hey, we hit a full house.
Yeah, he's got 7s or 5s. We're done.
No, he has ace king. Be positive.
I
We
don't
just
know.
got-
if
we
can get
just-
from value here.
We just scammed him. I think we check, but we just scammed him.
So I think we're gonna
And
check.
now we're
'cause-
gonna announce, we're gonna check and then say full house, and he's gonna be like, damn, really? You have aces? And then he's gonna muck his kings. We're gonna
Yeah,
say
full-
full house and then show an ace. That's what we're gonna say.
All
Oh, well, actually, I think he has to call some aces. I never do it because the way, like, they have
It's never pretty. It's
All
I
right.
find
Hey,
out
but
gotta-
hey, we did this. We made the 2 calls, and now we all in
You
because
have
he
to
doesn't
jam.
have quads, and now he's gonna.
Jam and rebuy.
he's gonna tank.
Are we jamming for value or jamming as a bluff?
We are
Both.
jamming every full house that we have. We are unbalanced here. Yeah, we're jamming every full house. And because we get here with so many full houses, we are just bluffing like a maniac on this board.
Yeah, 9-7, Queen Jack, Queen
Yeah.
10.
Anything that
then-
isn't King Jack or
And
better.
then when he calls us with like fives, we can
Threes.
say, hey, I had a full house and I lost with a full house, guys.
Yeah,
how did
boat,
you lose the
boat
main
over
event?
boat.
How did you lose the main event of the tournament? I had a full house.
Yeah, boat over boat. They don't need to know it was fours.
Yeah, so his response is that he calls with all full houses, just like us. And he has to call with a bunch of ace high.
That is a very interesting hand.
That's a triple deuce board, right? So most interesting thing to me was the raise on the flop blocking the only nut hand that he has, ace deuce of clubs.
Yeah.
Right? I can find that call with ace three a lot, but I'm just never raising there. But part of it too, like, can you imagine raising quad deuces and a guy just like looks at pocket fours and folds? And he's like, oh yeah, I fold my full house. And you're like, I have quads, I got no value.
Yeah.
All right, we'll wrap it up with that. If you guys liked this type of stuff, we will be back next week, Monday. Our friends Louis Philippe and God's Big Toe, Crazy Sixes, all have study sessions throughout this week on poker coaching. Feel free to check them out. If you're watching this in replay further on, reach out on the Poker Coaching Discord and connect, and we can get some more study sessions going for people. And yeah, thanks for popping in.
Peter, thank you very much for the time. Much appreciated as always, sir.
Yeah.
No problem, guys.
See ya.